Coming to you live from Chinatown. This is the Brooklyn Baritone Podcast. Hey New York, hey Brooklyn, hey world, how are you doing this morning? Well, for me it's the morning. It may be nighttime or afternoon time for you. Whenever you choose to listen, I very much appreciate you taking the time to check out my podcast here and the things that I got to talk about to help you, hopefully, with a better life, because the things that I've applied myself, knowing myself, experienced myself, and still learning how to do better. So it's also, very much a learning process for myself. Today I'm going to go into something that affects everyone, of course, as usual. That's usually the scheme of things that I do. How many of us are looking forward to getting older? I'm very certain all the hands that are going to be raised up are not going to be that much. Usually because the aches and the pains and everything else, the lifestyle changes that go with it is usually something that's kind of forced on you because people don't move around the way they want to or can't. They don't have the same amount of friends around them. They may not have the same type of options, as the younger bucks do. But in essence, that is probably a very good thing to look forward to. But there are a lot of factors that lead up to having a life and a mindset that would hopefully want you to look forward to getting older. Now, looking at how we live, do we have proper support, or are there people that you may know that are elderly? People say 65 up, but I know people who are 60 plus that are still getting around as good as the younger people are, probably even better. But anyways, I digress with that. Do they have a proper support system, and are there enough loved ones around to give them the proper attention that they want and they need? Because I totally understand and I totally get why it's somewhat burdensome. It may seem like a burden to you to take care of someone elderly in your family, usually a parent, possibly your aunt or another loved one or a friend even. Most, a lot of people want to have the best for them, but how many of us are actually willing to put our time and our energy into play to take care of these people that hold a special place in our heart? At least I would like to hope so. I like going into statistics with many things that I talk about. 11 million, or 28% of Americans 65 and over, they live alone. This is according to the Census Bureau in 2019. That's 28% isn't bad, but it definitely is not zero. 11 million is a lot of people. You can feel it when you just know one person in your life that's alone. And if you have a heart, you are at least engaged enough with your conscience to have sympathy, even empathy, that's a terrible thing to go through. Even you don't have to be elderly, but think of that, you can't move around the way you want to. And, you're lonely. So imagine not having the people around you supposed to have your back. Or you thought so. Because it's a wonderful thing to have kids or people around you that you hope will be there for you. Going into more statistics. In Canada, 80% of seniors participate in social events, which is good. Still 20% that's out there, which is as close to what I said for the American statistics. But 80% is good. 80% is fantastic. And it could be more. No, that's not mine. Not at all. And it's a good thing that they're social, but it goes back into how you live and how you set yourself up. Before I go back into the other beefy part of my podcast, let me go ahead and talk about other statistics as well. In the UK, over a 7-year period, studies showed that 6,000 elderly, wait for these gentlemen who's working here with the garbage to get past here. Okay, back to the statistics. In the UK, over a 7-year period, a study showed that over 6,000 elderly die with less social contacts. This was taken back in 2012. The 80% of seniors in Canada and this one in the UK, this statistics was taken from a website called aplaceformom.org. Now, you could see how that would totally suck. There's some people who just would prefer to be by themselves, and people who probably do operate better mostly by themselves. Because remember, no man is an island, no woman either. But the way we're engineered and how we live every day, you know, no person can just totally sustain themselves. Some people, they got good at it, but that amount of people who actually do it in the population of the world is very, very small and minute. We usually depend on people to be with us, around us, to help us in any way, shape, or form, or even just to give us social contact that we need. So when we think about these things, when we think about it, everyone has thought about getting older, at least I hope you did. You think about, you know, hopefully I'm not going to be in a position where I am going to need a walker, a wheelchair, someone to change your, adult diapers. You got to think realistically. Possibly dementia or Alzheimer's. There's a lot of things that's usually equated to being older that people don't look forward to. This usually goes back to what many people say and what I always talk about here in this podcast or any of my snippets on Instagram or Facebook. Try your best to live your proper life while you can now. Take good care of your body. Eat the right things when you possibly can, when you should be doing all the time. I try to. When I say try to do, sometimes I backslide, but for the most part, I try to be very mindful of what I eat, how I eat, and I know when I may be backsliding a bit. I said, okay, it's for a time, but I know when it's time to get it in the gym and get it in the proper food and everything and have a mindset that's clear, I do it. I try to keep my mind active, as you can see with this weekly podcast. Thank you for watching me and allowing me to do this for you. And I go through audiobooks and I do read. But it's always good to keep your mind active and to have goals, whether it be small, short-term goals for next week or the whole year or the next 20 years. It's good to keep your mind active because our minds are made to be productive. So we can be productive with our hands, with our bodies, with our whole presence and being. So every step you take is going to take time. And that time for every step that we do, everything that we get involved in, every person that we encounter and engage, it takes time. Time is one of the two most valuable assets we have. Life and time. It depends on what we do with these things is what would lay out our lives for us. And you want to spend your time, Father willing, that you get to an age where you're able to see many things and experience many things and hopefully impact the lives of many people and be impacted by the lives of others as well. You'd want to be in the best frame of mind there is because, yes, you could compare a child to an elderly person. You can make the little jokes, whatever, they lose their hair, they don't have any hair, they don't have their teeth, they may have to wear diapers, they need help to be walked all over the place. But the thing with the child, they're still developing, they know really nothing about this world. The thing with the elderly, can you imagine the pool of resources that person has, the experiences, the priceless experiences that these people have gone through and lived? The treasure trove of information that they may have. So they have a whole lifetime, literally, inside their memory banks, inside every cell of their body. And to imagine to get to a point where, you may not be able to fend for yourself in this world. You can't walk down the street the way you want to. You can't drive the way you want to. You can't talk the way you want to, or even think or remember. It's a terrible thing. The best we can do is try to take care of ourselves right now, so that we may not get to that state. And let's just say we do happen to get to that state. We may feel we're a burden. And again, like I said earlier, I totally get it because why some people may stick their parents in an old person's home and not give them the same time of day because they're worrying about the grind. They're worrying about social, economic, culture, and structure. They're worried about their bills. They have their social life. They have their job to deal with. They have probably their families to deal with or other issues that's time consuming. I get it. But again, two most valuable assets we will ever have is life and time. And we have to treat them properly. We can't really take it for granted. We can enjoy it. It doesn't mean to enjoy it wantoningly, if that's even a word. In a wanton fashion, where a wanton, if I'm saying it properly, whatever. In a way that's just totally disregarding the proper respect of how your body acts and how you as a person interacts with the world and everyone around you. And I totally get it. Family is not always the easiest thing or people to get along with, because some of the people who cause the most damage in our lives is family. Many of us can definitely testify to that. And that's what makes it hard to possibly deal with people when they get older. But we can't forget that they are people too. I understand some people can bear that brunt better than others, be it because they have a better financial standing, be it that they have a better spiritual standing, where if any wrongdoings have happened, they are able to get over it. Some people cannot, unfortunately. This is why I say try to live your best life as you possibly can. So when you need people, they're more than willing, or you have a higher chance of people willing to take care of you. It's a two-way street, and we always want to strive for the best things in life, especially when we get older. Now, there's a whole bunch of verses in the book about this. I'm only going to say one. This is Proverbs 23, chapter 23, verse 22. Listen to your father that gave you life, and despise not your mother when she is old. This is meant to, of course, honor thy mother and thy father. It's for a reason, and everyone's gonna have to need to get help, and everyone's gonna need that personal connection. Those stats that I talked about earlier about people who live alone, and it's a higher risk of people, regardless of their pre-existing medical conditions, it worsens when they are alone, when they are left by themselves, when they don't have people contacting them on the regular, when they don't have people visiting them. You remember, again, people have to tend to a child all the time. The child has no idea what's going on. And many elderly, a lot of them have dementia, Alzheimer's, but even the ones that don't, even the ones that do are able to get around properly. They don't need a wheelchair. They don't need someone to really help them. They don't need a crutch, a walker. They may not need, they can control their bowels. They don't need an adult diaper or anything like that. They're totally functional, basically, with, the younger crowd. But you still spend time. You talk to them. Even distant relatives, if you're able to talk to them on a regular, daily, weekly, do it. Many times life happens with me, myself, and I pass time, days, weeks, months, and I say, let me call Aunt so-and-so. Let me call my father. Let me call this one. Let me call that one. So there are times where I have, my seasons where I'll be doing my thing, and I'm like, let me see how they're doing. Let me go by them if I'm able to see if they need any kind of help or assistance with whatever it is, just to check up on them. That little positive outreach and engagement, it does wonders for people. Just like you don't want anyone to always bash you, to criticize you negatively, once you do find someone who's willing to engage you in a positive manner, that does so much for the heart, so much for the mind. It keeps people spry and healthy. Yeah, you can get into your routine of living by yourself and doing things on your own, but it's so much better and easier when you can share life with people. Remember, it's all about a communal mindset. We're supposed to have dominion over this world, not domination. Dominion is you're making sure that everything and everyone around you is well taken care of, and they have what they need to the best of your ability to live their utmost life. Domination is rolling over anyone that you see fit for basically your satisfaction. We don't want to have domination. We want to have dominion. We want to take care of ourselves so that we're in a better position to take care of everyone around us. And then the people who need us, our children, definitely, and the elderly. Just remember, it's going to be, imagine you just one day or progressively just not able to move. And this is like worst case scenario. Can't move, can't talk. So you're well aware of the world around you. You're well aware of your experiences. You're well aware that, you used to be able to move around and talk. That's torture. We've got to stop and think about it at times. That is torture. You wouldn't want anyone to have to deal with that. So if you can, do your best to help people around you. I get it with the whole family thing where some people may have caused a lot of issues in the past. A lot of wounds may not have healed. But I could guarantee you it does you the greater good, the best thing possible to learn to forgive, because it will eat you up, especially once an opportunity passes. If you live long enough to come with regret, and we don't want to live life with regret. We're not here for regret. We're here to take opportunities to the maximum level of living our lives and helping to bring other people with us. The young bucks like myself and the elderly, we have to take care of everyone. Take care of yourself so you're not going to be as broken down as you possibly could be when you get older, and maybe not a burden, because that's what it is. You have to think about it in that fashion. You may have regrets like, I should have ate better, I should have did this better. You would have been healthier. Cool. If that's not the case, build relationships properly. Yes, we have resources to put elderly there, but at the same time, you don't want to stick someone in an old person's home or people they don't really recognize or know. They would rather be at home if possible. If not, if they can't be at home, show them a friendly face. Show them that you care. At least, if anything, you could help elongate their life. You could learn a lot more about yourself and them, because you talk to people who, especially in your family, you talk to them, you learn things about yourself and your family genealogy that you never knew. Even someone you don't know. You may take it upon yourself to go visit, a nursing home or anyone elderly that you know. Spend time with them, man. Why wouldn't you do that? Life is so much more than the things we buy and the things that we do and the running around we do and the bills. It's about life and it's about time. Spend your life properly and spend the time properly. Okay, I think I probably repeated myself a whole bunch of times about all this stuff. But anyways, take care of your elderly, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Of course, as I wrap this up, you can direct yourself to my website, www.brooklynbaritone.com, for all my podcasts and any other of my media content that I may have. And check me out in the comment section and everything. Speaking about comment sections, you can check me out on my YouTube channel at Brooklyn Baritone. And also you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I am also on the Google Play Store and the iTunes Play Store. All right, it's done. Love your older people, because they loved you at one point if they were in your family. Anyways, talk to you guys next week. You'll hear from me, of course, this week with the Freshman Podcast. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Walk good. Peace out.